SIGNIS Nigeria, the umbrella body of all communication activities in the Catholic Church, has organized a 3-day convention in Portharcourt, Rivers State, for journalists and communication experts in the church. The convention, which was organized in collaboration with the Center for the Study of African Culture and Communication, CESACC, and the Catholic Institute for West Africa, CIWA, drew participants from all over the country. CTV's Tony Abba reports.
It was a gathering of communicators and media professionals from all over the country. They are here in Portharcourt, Rivers State, under the auspices of SIGNIS Nigeria to fashion out the best way to move the communication apostolate of the Catholic Church forward. The 3-day convention, which was organized by SIGNIS Nigeria with collaboration from Center for Study of African Culture and Communication, CESAC, and the Catholic Institute of West Africa, CIWA, held the theme, Communication in the Catholic Church, the Past, the Present, and the Future. The opening mass was officiated by the President of SIGNIS Nigeria, Reverend Father Patrick ALUMUKU. Before the mass proper, Reverend Father Gerard Musa, the chairman of the Convention Planning Committee, welcomed all delegates to the convention.
I want to welcome all those who arrived yesterday, those who arrived today, those who are still on their way. We are celebrating this opening mass. Ask God especially to lead us, to guide us, and to help us to achieve our purpose of this gathering.
In his homily, Reverend Monsignor Professor Joseph Fadiron encouraged the delegates to see their work as that of missionaries spreading the good news of Christ through the media.
Each one of us has been given natural gifts. And in addition to these natural gifts, he has called each one of us gathered here this morning to share in his mission, the mission of spreading the good news in the world today. My dear sisters, my dear brothers, this is why this morning, as we begin our convention on reflecting on the past, the present, and the future of that mission, Jesus Christ confronts us with the following challenges.
The Mass continued with offertory and the Eucharistic celebration. Before the end of Mass, the Director of Communication, Portharcourt Diocese, Reverend Father Francis Tete, welcomed the delegates to the diocese, encouraging them to use the opportunity to move communication apostolate forward.
We welcome the Bishop, Chairman of Communications, Most Reverend Dennis Isizo, the President of SIGNIS Africa, Reverend Father Professor Walter Ihejirika. We welcome the National Director of Social Communications, Reverend Father Michael Umor, the President of SIGNIS Nigeria, Reverend Father Patrick ALUMUKU. We welcome very specially all the Directors of Communications from the dioceses and congregations across the length and breadth of the Church in Nigeria, delegates from Kampan and Kayan, and all media apostolate groups at various levels under the family umbrella of SIGNIS Nigeria.
After the Mass, the opening ceremony of the convention began. Declaring the event open, the Catholic Bishop of Portharcourt Diocese, Most Reverend Camillus Etukudo, who was represented by Reverend Father Hyacinth Ologun, highlighted the issues of misuse of the media and fake news and called on Catholic communicators to address these issues.
He talks about abuse, use and misuse of the media in our present time. How are we going to address the issue as Catholic media practitioners? The Bishop talks about fake news all over the place. How are we going to tackle the fake news that we encounter today? How are we going to use the media for effective evangelization? Because where we were before, and what we are today, and where we are today, and where we will be in the future, we have to plan.
The chairman of the opening ceremony, Sir Gabriel Pidopsin, in his welcome remark, stressed the importance of communication in the church.
Occasions like this, conventions like this, are very important, especially when driven by church leaders of timber and caliber, all seated there, leaving the places that you are supposed to be shepherding their flock because they understand the importance of communication. So I'll urge all of you, as you are here, all through this convention, try as much as possible to be attentive. Because when you are attentive to what they are saying, when you focus on what they are saying, what they are teaching, that's a sign of humility. When you are humble, even the things that would not have been possible, things you would not have understood, you'll be surprised that the Holy Spirit will open your mind to understand those things.
The National Director of Communication, Very Reverend Father Mike Umor, in his remarks, blamed the challenges of communication in the Catholic Church on the lack of synergy.
The chosen theme of this convention is communications in the church in Nigeria, the past, the present, and the future. I consider this very apt, as there is obviously an urgent need to review in order to reposition the communications apostolate in our church. If the ugly truth is to be told, you will agree with me that there is much more that needs to be done regarding communications in our church than we are presently doing. A remarkable deficiency in all our efforts, to my mind, is lack of synergy. Many of us are very busy doing our own thing, but we are not synergizing our efforts.
He also announced the Catholic Bishops' Conference position on the National Communication Week commencing next year.
The Bishops' Conference of Nigeria have already approved that instead of World Day of Communication, now in Nigeria we'll be having World Week of Communications. So the Communications Week will start the Sunday before the World Day of Communications. For 2022, that will be 22nd to 29th of May, 2022.
Reverend Father Patrick ALUMUKU, the national president of SIGNIS Nigeria, in his remarks addressed the issue of communication, stating that communication should be used for peace.
The context in which we find ourselves today clearly indicates that if our work is going to be effective in our communities and in the future of our nation, we must embark on peace communication, or communications work aimed at peace building. With insurgencies, insecurity, and ensuing social instability, this is what our nation needs most now. And this is what our continent also needs and requires today. We need to elevate and promote initiatives and people who are working for peace, progress, and stability, and for a peaceful coexistence for the future. Jesus, no doubt, had our role in mind when he said, "Peace I live with you, my peace I give to you."
The keynote speaker and the president of SIGNIS Africa, Reverend Professor Walter Ihejirika, in his address encouraged the church communication expert to see the future of communication in the digital space.
We need to also imbibe the digital culture, the things that come from digitality, convergence, for instance. And I'm glad that one of the papers Father Mike mentioned clearly about the needs for synergy. In the digital age, everything is about convergence. We may be disparate, but we are interconnected. Without convergence of various elements, we can't move forward. Convergence is critical for the life of the church and especially for the communication apostolate. We need that. We need also professionalism. One of the lies about in the digital age is the fact that everybody feels we can do anything. Digital technology gives you the capacity to feel you can become anything you want. You know, with your handset, you become a photographer overnight because you have a camera. With your microphone, you can broadcast and you can become a broadcaster. That's a lie. At the end of the day, there is always a distinguishing mark. The professional will always stand out. And that's the point also that digitality makes for the church. Even though people can do certain things at the amateur level, but professionalism is indispensable.
There were paper presentation and group discussion. The Bishop, Chairman of Social Communication, Most Reverend Dennis Isizo, in his remarks, admonished communicators to use their tool to articulate the messages of the church.
What does the Catholic Church in Nigeria want? The Catholic Church wants love for all. Love. The Catholic Church wants respect for human life. The Catholic Church wants dignity of every human being. The Catholic Church wants justice and peace, equity. The Catholic Church wants freedom of choice of one's religion. The Catholic Church wants freedom of worship. The Catholic Church wants honesty in public service. The Catholic Church wants security. The Catholic Church wants good governance. The Catholic Church wants peaceful coexistence. The Catholic Church wants free and fair mechanism for the change of government. These are some of the things that we want. In your different areas, different competencies, try to bring this out.
Some of the participants spoke to CTV News.
And I must confess that I've been enlightened, I've been inspired. I had no idea about SIGNIS. I've only been hearing about the term SIGNIS. But now I think I'm going home more nourished and more educated on what the whole structure and the setup, aims and objective of SIGNIS is all about. And also learning so much about communication.
I found this convention a very enriching one. First of all, having us as media practitioners from different groups in the church, and the diocese is coming together to think together, discuss, plan, and put ideas together. I found them very, very enriching.
Sincerely, we've done a lot in the past. And as we're looking for the future, I will say that Campan has potentials to help the nation out of its predicament. One of the major things I think we have in this problem is ensuring peace. And Campan is committed to that.
Well, Kayan has been in the forefront of projecting the gospel of Christ, and he's been doing that through the tool, the film medium. And recently we just started up what we call the weekly Sunday reflections, where we do a skit and have a praise to reflect on the Sunday event.
From Portharcourt, Tony Abba, CTV News.